Hey guys, este es el video de la entrevista que tuve la oportunidad de hacerle a Michael Hawes, un gran coleccionista de Star Wars y una gran persona. Espero que el video les guste tanto como yo disfruté hacer la entrevista con Michael. Gracias por apoyar el canal. Hey Michael, first of all, I want to thank you so much for accepting the invite. It is a pleasure to have you here with us at Star Wars Español today. I am really excited to share this mutual passion we know as Star Wars with you, man. Thank you so much and welcome.
Well, R2, okay. He's always trying to take the show. But what he said is hola.
Okay, we got that.
That's about all I know.
Okay, that's
Thanks
cool.
for having me on, man.
No, man, it's a pleasure having you. So the show is divided in 3 sections. We start off with something I like to call the interview.
Yeah.
And the last 2 feel like games, and you'll find that out when we go to them, okay?
Sounds good.
So obviously we have to start with the serious questions here. And the first part of the interview, we want to ask you, and I want to ask you, who is Michael / StarKiller?
Man, that's a good question. Who is Michael? That depends who you ask, I guess. But Michael is a kid at heart. He's a 52-year-old, 7-year-old that never wanted to grow up, and thank God I haven't, I've just, I love the community. I love what you're doing on your show. Congratulations on your show. I'm having a good time, meeting people. StarKiller77 has really made a name for himself in the last year and a half, and it's really awesome to be able to blend my collection with other fans out there and inspire. That's what I like to do more than anything in the world, is inspire. No matter how big or how small the collection is, I always talk about that with my sidekick Gabe on Collection Wars. We don't want people to feel like, oh, I'm not worthy. I reached out to a guy today, super guy, Sans Prequels, and said, hey man, I'd like to have you on the show. And he says, I don't have that big of a collection. And it's like, but you got a great personality, and
Yes.
and Star Wars, and you talk really good about Star Wars, but anyways, yeah. But so Michael's just a kid at heart that loves Star Wars and tries to stay away from all the BS going around in the world right now. It's unfortunate, but I'm always having a good time and meeting friends, So that's StarKiller77.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we have to ask you, how did you become a Star Wars fan, Michael?
That's a repetition question, and you can always get a repetition answer because it comes from a lot of the true fans out there. And how do you define a true fan? Well, I think in my humble heart that when I was 7 years old, again, I'm 52, so that was, a long time ago. It was awesome because, we were introduced to something that had never been introduced before. We're so spoiled today on technology, so it's really hard to wow a kid nowadays, which is unfortunate. And if you do wow them, it's about a new iPhone that came out, just something that has no meaning anymore, really.
Yes.
So I just was really I lived with just my mom. It was me and my mom, and we lived in we weren't raised with a lot of money. My mom busted her ass working late nights, so I was home alone a lot. And I was blessed enough to have some people that lived in the apartment complex take me to see Star Wars. And Star Wars, as a lot of people know and might not know, when Star Wars was first released, it was so popular that it was in the theaters for over a year, at the beginning,
Yes.
And it was probably a good halfway through that year till I finally got to see it. But when I came home, I was Luke Skywalker, I just, the fantasy that I wanted to be him so bad. And that want I've always held on to, and what Star Wars did for me. And it's kind of weird because I never really played with toys when I was little, but after Star Wars, you know, one of my birthdays, my mom got me a couple action figures, and I still have those action figures today, you know.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. So
Cool.
but yeah, so that's where it all started when I was around 7 years old. But what I was able to experience, and a lot of people my age got to experience, was just an absolutely amazing thing. And we have these people that are now multi-millionaires that talk Star Wars on YouTube and are buying Lamborghinis and stuff. But respectfully, they'll never have that feeling that us older folks had when we saw. I'm not saying they can't like it as much by any means. I'm just saying they didn't have that feeling of, you know, not ever seeing a spaceship fly, you know, and you know, it was all about practical effects. You know, it wasn't about digital and
not at all.
Yeah. And what I've tried to do, and when I first decided to open up this gallery, we're expanding another couple thousand square feet right now, is
wow.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to be able to, you know, I don't charge for people to come to the gallery, you know, and most of the time, if I have time, I don't mind people coming in. I've had people come from, you know, across the world, you know, to see the gallery, and, you know, I've met a lot of really cool people. But yeah, that's my story, and you know, things are never going to die with Star Wars and me. So
sounds cool, man.
Yeah.
So so next question will be, what do you collect? And we can see a lot of stuff behind you, but we have to ask for
That's great. That's great, man. And by the way, I love the ambience in your room. It's I love the blue lighting. I like that tone. It's comfortable.
I like yours.
Thank you. Yeah, I can change the lighting in here to where I can have that blue draw. I love that. So look, I collect all kinds of things. You know, what's close to the heart to me, obviously, is going to be my vintage collection. You know, all my original vintage action figures that I had when I was a kid. There's something about when you had something, I don't care if it's a toy, if it's a baseball that you threw with your dad, just something that brings you back to when you were a kid, that innocence. And why we're also lucky, everyone that's viewing your channel right now, is because we still have that kid in us, you know, where, you know, we never wanted to grow up, you know, and I think that's why the Star Wars family is so awesome. But when it comes to the Star Wars collecting, you got to be real careful before, you know, and I'll go into this after, but to your question. So I'm really into studio scale models. I love studio models. I'm into life size. I like life size props. And when I say props, I have a few props, not a whole lot, but I'm really big into dioramas. I love dioramas. I love 6 scale. I dabble in a little bit of everything, you know. I love like the Topps cards, you know. Yeah, but you got to be careful not to fall down the rabbit holes, because you know what I mean. I fell down so many of them that you just got to be careful, though. To you collectors out there, is that you want to make sure that you don't start collecting because somebody else collects it, or but you got to collect it because that's what you like, what you love. And I think that's the importance, whatever it is that you may collect. But when it comes to Star Wars, it starts from the heart, which is my vintage. But the studio scale is really, really big to me, to have the studio models, because we were talking earlier about the practical effects versus digital, you know, and I just, there's just something about how it was done. It was more real to me.
And you have pretty awesome pieces, man. And we have to share about your channel later on. So another question is, what was your first Star Wars toy?
That's a great question. My very first Star Wars toy was the little Kenner R2-D2.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a great question. I love that question. Yeah, R2-D2, and I still have it.
Nice, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then I'll show you guys when we're done with this. I'll be happy to do a walk around and show you the gallery.
Oh, that would be crazy, man.
Yeah, we can do that.
So, other question is, what was your first Star Wars collectible? Yeah, as a grown-up, when you're on money, like, this is my first thing that I'm buying for myself.
It's kind of funny because, like I said, I didn't play with toys when I was a kid. So that being said, that R2D2 was my first collectible, because I actually, but to get technical with your question, I would have to say in the mid 90s, Star Wars had died out quite a bit. And then the Kenner was bought out by Hasbro, and then they came out with a new line of they're still now kind of vintage figures with the muscular and all that stuff.
Yes, the power of the Force.
Yes, the power of the Force. That's when it kind of really started, grabbing a lot of people, and people that age could go to their kids and get them involved. Yes. But around that time, a friend of mine, Don Post, a lot of people know who Don Post is. Gabe and I had him on our show Collection Wars. He was actually one of the first Star Wars license companies out there to carry, licensed through Lucasfilm. And those just happen to be life-size props. And behind me here is a stormtrooper that
we can see it.
that came from Don Post. And then I've got on the other side, the 3PO is also Don Post. But that was where the actual, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but that's when I started really getting into collecting. But I honestly, when I was 7, I'm telling you, I was collecting from then on. I was hooked when I was 7 years old. Wow. The hard thing is, though, at 7 years old it's just, waiting for mom and dad, your mom to.
Can I get this? Can I get that?
Can I get that, Mom? Please, can I do this? And,
begging. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
But you start very early, man.
I did. And I would always worry. I'm sorry to cut you off. I would always worry that when I was 12 years old, when I was 14 years old, when I was 16 years old and in high school and, going out on dates and, and I had a room full of Star Wars, it was 40-year-old virgin at 16, but it was, I didn't care, I that was my shit, you know what I mean? And don't touch
passion.
That was, but I still, though, the funny thing is I was 16 and I was like, God, when's the time going to come where I'm not going to care about these things anymore? And I would always worry that time's going to come. You never know. How come all the hundreds of thousands of other people in the world don't want to collect toys like I do? So I'm bound to finally just not care anymore. But guess what? I'm 52 and strong, brother.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
So, what is your favorite Star Wars movie and why?
Ooh, okay, great question. Definitely, it's going to be the original New Hope. Nice. And why is because that's what hooked me. Do I think it's the absolute best film? Yes, I do. It's just everything about it. You're introduced to so many awesome characters out of the gate. This dog that's called Chewbacca, and these droids that you've never seen really before, except in a couple other older serial shows. But yeah, have to be New Hope for sure.
Yeah, cool means, man. So, which piece of your collection do you treasure the most, and why?
Yeah, I get that question, and that's a hard one too, bro.
I know.
So there's, so it's really hard. You need to change that to 5 things in your collection. Not what's the thing. We always talk about.
It's a hard question.
Yeah, and whatever. And Gabe and I always say, if there's a fire, I'm gonna burn in it because I'm not taking. I'm gonna just. You know what I mean? But no, but seriously, I love my vintage action figures.
Okay.
But it's definitely not my most expensive thing. But those are the things that I treasure the most are my action figures.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
So, generally, what do you like the most about Star Wars? The whole world of Star Wars.
Hope. The adventure. The good guys versus the bad guys, not knowing if the good guys are going to win, the odds are against them. But I would absolutely just say that Star Wars has inspired literally millions of people in different ways. And so when you see Star Wars, we all can say, I could ask you the same question right now is, what do you like the most about Star Wars? And I would just have to say is how it's changed so many lives and what it's done for so many people. Me personally, when it comes to success and the drive to do something in life, you can look back. It's really weird. I don't know if it's biblical or what it is, but there's just something about what Star Wars has done and what it has changed for the world. So
that is a great answer, man. I love it. So is there anything you don't like about Star Wars, Michael?
Yes. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, and 9. Book of Boba. You want me to keep going? You
have a big list.
Yeah. I'd rather watch Howard the Duck. No, but it's a different generation of people, and it's you can't. And this is what George Lucas had. He had such a tough time, and it's the real reason that, in my humble opinion, in my heart, if George was watching right now, because I'm sure he watches your show all the time, I would have I would have to say that he was tired of the fans, beating him up. Not everybody's going to be on the same page, and that's the way it is with some of the movies that are made nowadays. And fans, because they're so passionate of Star Wars, they're critical. But the new movies suck. I'm just sorry to tell you. I don't like them, but I hope that they do something for other people in a good way.
Yes, I agree with most of the things you say, totally, man. But this is your show tonight, so
thank you.
If you could be a Star Wars character, who could you be and why?
Luke. Well, wait a minute now. I got to be careful when I answer that, okay?
Yes.
I would be.
Which Luke?
Yeah, exactly. Not the one sucking on the titty. I would be. Sorry. I would be the Luke Skywalker that saves everybody and goes on to other adventures and and lives a good old life. Hanging out with Ben and Yoda. And not a coward. But I love Luke Skywalker's character. Everyone yearns to be Luke Skywalker in their own way, no matter if it's at a job they're working at, or people that they want to help change their life. Luke Skywalker, hands down.
Cool. I like it. So, who is your least favorite Star Wars character?
Okay, well, I'm not going to say Jar Jar Binks because that's what everybody probably says.
Me, right? I want to say it.
I know.
Everybody is starting for me, man.
I know, right? I'm not going to be that like everybody else, right?
Yes, you have to be original.
Jeez.
It has to be one. Or two.
Yeah. Next time, be more specific for what movie, right? No, honestly, but I get it. It was for kids, but I think that the Jar Jar Binks character was absolutely pointless. You know what I mean?
Totally agree, man.
Okay, all right. But real quick, to the gentleman that played the character, you know what? Props to you, man, because if George would have called me and told me I want you to play this character called Jar Jar Binks, I'd have hands down done it. You know what I mean?
On it.
Yeah, but yeah, he just really doesn't really click.
What is the best memory you have of Star Wars from when you were a child?
Man, I love your questions. They're great questions. There's so many of them. So I'm going to name two. The first one was when the neighbors took me to see Star Wars and I was driving home and I was just like mesmerized. But also was going to the mall on a Saturday, waiting for my mom to get dressed she would have to go into work. She owned a bar and she would always have to go in on Saturday mornings and she would usually work till like noon, sometimes till 1 o'clock. When she did that, I would go to work with her and I would have about $5 every time. And I would go over to the mall and I would get a slice of pizza and a drink and I would go see a movie. But before I did that, I would hit Montgomery Ward's, KB Toys, JC Penney's,
Ooh,
Fun City Toys, which was across the street, and the Toy Box. And I would hit every one of them first to see what figures have come out. You know what I mean? And I would always do that. What sucked though is I only had usually enough to get like 1 or 2 toys. Sometimes my mom would give me $10 because remember the toys were like $2, so I could go see a movie, get a slice of pizza and a deal for a little over $5. You know, and but I
beautiful
would
times,
always,
man.
yeah, and so I love doing that and come home and I just kept setting those figures up and my mom was good to me as a kid. She made when it comes to the toys and stuff. She would always surprise me and get me things and. It was good stuff.
That is it, man. That is super cool.
Yeah.
What is the craziest thing you've done for Star Wars? I know this is kind of a weird question, but I have to ask. And I know for a video you shared, that could be one of them, but I want you to answer that.
And hands down, being arrested for trespassing at Skywalker Ranch.
And let me make a pass. You guys need to go to Michael's channel, and we talk about it later. And while the interview, but you guys need to see, to listen, to live that it was amazing, man. I love that video.
It's a good story. It's actually
a great story.
Thank you, and that's the best video I've done to date. I was so relaxed, and I felt like the audience was really listening. But just real quick for you guys that don't have time to watch that video, I was working in California, and I wanted to. Like Lucas, I mean, he inspired me. I wanted to get into the film industry, and I was working in a model shop and did a couple other things. I was there for almost a year, and I came back home to Texas, and I felt almost empty when I came back because I knew that there was nothing really here. But I wanted so much to be a part of Star Wars and maybe have the opportunity to work in the model shop. Well, I decided to book a ticket to San Francisco to go over the Golden Gate Bridge and go up to Skywalker Ranch. And keep in mind, I'm 52, so I did that when I was 20 years old. And I rented a car, went over the deal, and went up in there and went into the gate. The gates opened, and I get to drive in. It was this perfect thing, right? And I get in there, and then there's a little deal in there, and I tried to get in, and they wouldn't let me in, so I turned around and I left. And long story short, I decided I wanted to go in anyways. So I went the back road, which is jumping over the fence. And a couple hours later, got to see some really cool things. Definitely check out the video on my StarKiller77 thing. It just says I got arrested for trespassing at Skywalker Ranch. But I left in handcuffs, but it was all good. They dropped the charges, but that was hands down the craziest thing that I've done.
That is more than crazy. That's amazing, man.
Yeah, it was fun.
And we definitely are going to recommend that video again over and over.
Thank you.
So why do you think Star Wars is such a successful franchise, man?
Just because of what it stands for, which is what I said earlier: hope and adventure. And I mean, there's so many worlds, and the worlds capture the audience in so many different ways. Like me, I want to be on Dagobah just with Yoda and nothing else around, just the sound of the creatures, flying around, and just the sound and the blue. I love that world, and
Yes.
and I think there's just so many different the different iconic characters, that it grabs people. Darth Vader. Remember seeing Darth Vader on the screen? I mean, he was so menacing when you're 7 years old, and you've never seen a character like that, So, that's what I think, in my humble opinion. What Star Wars has turned out to be so successful, but it's sad because I think there's so many people now that have their hands in on Star Wars now, where they had a perfect opportunity to bring us back with the Book of Boba. But I've heard a couple people saying this, and I agree with them 1,000%, is they would have done Boba a lot more justice if they would have just brought him into the Mandalorian, because the Mandalorian was awesome, and I think a lot of people liked it for several different reasons, because it had that real old-timey, simple, not a bunch of digital shit. It was real simple. You know, I could watch Star Wars, a story of a couple of Jawas that are working on a droid inside their sandcrawler. You know what I mean? And then one of the other Jawas comes in and steals the head off of, you know, the CZ3, and they're trying to find. I mean, that's simple. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I just, you know, where a couple stormtroopers are trapped out in the desert, and they're just trying to get by to civilization or something. I mean, it's not a lot of digital. It's just real simple, like Star Wars was. You know what I mean? So
basic Star Wars.
Yeah, basic Star Wars. And I think that, again, so many hands are in it now, and different writers. And back in the day, people were afraid to say to George Lucas, just like a lot of people were afraid to, you know, talk to a lot of them, maybe the higher ups now, because they'd end up getting fired. There were several directors that were fired because they would tell the higher ups that, look, you hired me as a director, and as a director, you like my vision and the way I do things. I'm going to take your story and I'm going to visualize it, and I'm going to do it this way. They didn't like that. So it's really difficult how it's done. Now, maybe we can talk about it, maybe not, but the Obi-Wan trailer that just was released, I mean, it was really cool. And my favorite, like I think a lot of people, is when you see Luke on the thing, practicing womp rat hunting. But and then when you hear that, I mean, that the music is cool and all, but then you could kind of get back into that city of, you know, episode 1 through 3, and I mean, it might be for some people, which is fine. But I hope they don't mess it up, you know, with Obi-Wan, because I'm going to tell
Hopefully,
you,
man.
Yeah, because McGregor, I mean, he was so respectful. I guarantee you that Alec Guinness would absolutely approve, because he took his work seriously, Alec Guinness, you know, in his acting, you know, and Ewan McGregor was so respectful of him, and he nailed that damn character.
He's great.
Nailed it.
He's totally great.
Yeah.
Totally agree, man. Totally agree with you.
Yeah.
So, do you have a hero in real life, Michael?
Wow. You got me on that one right there. I do. I've got a couple of heroes in my life.
Okay.
And you're really good at touching the heart, pal.
That's a Star Wars, man.
Yeah. Golly, you really got me on that one. I would have to honestly say the hero in my life is my wife.
Beautiful.
But yet I've got these beautiful children that look up to their dad for some reason sometimes, and I don't know why, but they're my heroes too, you know. And my mom, who is really suffering right now in life with dementia and struggling in this. It's, you know, life can be really cruel to when you get old, you know, and she's suffering really bad. But we had some very tough times growing up. I not to get too deep into it, I had a really tough time, and things were really tough growing up. I was alone a lot, but my mom was still my hero in the way that, you know, she loved me unconditionally and did everything. She worked so many hours just to make sure, and who cares about money, but she always made sure that I had all the great things, you know, and you know, I love her for that. But hands down, my wife is there to support me in everything I do. I mean, hell, look at my surroundings right now. You know what I mean?
She really loves you, man.
Yeah. So I'm a lot of people know, some don't, because it's kind of a secret, but I'm going to tell it. But we've got a life-size wampa, almost 10 foot tall. It's going to be dragging a Luke Skywalker through the snow. And when you see that project, it's over 10 feet by 12 feet. Yeah, my wife's kick ass, you know. That's all I'm
She
gonna say.
is.
Yeah.
She is, man.
Yeah.
I really appreciate your sharing from your heart with us,
Oh man.
and that's the meaning of this show. I like to know fans for real,
Yeah.
not only about talking about plastic or stuff, but I
Yeah.
love to know people, and I think that's one of the coolest things of this world called Star Wars. I really appreciate your answers, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
So breaking this moment because I wanna make you happy.
Yeah.
So for all for all that people that are just starting to collect and buying because they are excited, especially for the new people
Yes.
that are thinking or considering collecting, give us your best advice for new Star Wars collectors, man. You kind of did at the beginning of the show, but
Yep.
let's,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
make it more clear for those
Yes. Yes.
because
Yeah.
it's a dangerous world.
It is. It is. Yeah. So definitely number one. By the way, you got fantastic questions, man. I love them.
Thank
And
you.
this isn't all this. You get a great show. So I absolutely. You want to make sure that you're not just collecting something for the hype of things. You want to absolutely make sure it's something that you really enjoy. And if it's Star Wars, that's fine. But there's a lot of things to collect in Star Wars. You know, what is it that you like? Um, is it the Topps cards, you know, from the vintage
Yes.
era? Is it um, the action figures? And if so, which ones do you want to collect? You know, be specific with what you want. You have to be very, very careful if you get into the vintage world because there's a lot of, and it's okay. I'll be real clear. If some people are pretty much against a lot of the repro stuff,
Mhm.
I understand. Not everybody can afford the real thing. I mean, you can get a
Yes.
repro something. I mean, even a gun, a repro gun, you can buy for $5. The original vintage gun can be $80. So be careful with
Yes.
that. But it's real easy to get into collecting things and then find out all of a sudden that you're not even really. It doesn't even do anything for you. So I can tell you personally that I have, in the last year, have purchased things in Star Wars, and when I get them, and sometimes they're pretty expensive, I look at this and I'm like, I don't even know why I got this. Did I get it because a lot of my friends were getting it? Because it happens a lot.
Yes.
And if you
It's
watch our
right.
show, with me and Gabe at Collection Wars, there's a group of us, man. We're always buying a lot of the same thing when these new things come out, like with Regal Robot and whatnot. But again,
Yeah.
make sure it's something that you really, really love, and be careful with eBay because right now it's such a collector's market. It sucks because my wife is a big Barbie fan, and she collects a lot of Barbie stuff. And same
That's
with
expensive too.
it is, and it wasn't 4 or 5 years ago. You know,
Yes.
it really
Yes.
wasn't considering the way it is now. So
Mm.
collect what you
Goodness.
love. Collect what you love.
That's great. That's great stuff over there. Collect what you love. I like it, man.
Yeah, man.
So tell us about your channel.
Thank you for bringing it up. So StarKiller77 started out as a gallery tour with me and my daughter Haley that went viral and did. Went crazy, and it was unbelievable the amount of people that would all the comments, all the positive comments,
Yes.
out there. There's a few jealous people out there that want to be hateful and hurtful, but those guys, they're not even worth the time. So,
Yes.
but I will tell you though that I care. So the content that I put out on StarKiller77, it's not political. It's all about being original and inspiring. And we do tutorials every once in a while. Like I might build a droid and talk about how that I built that droid, or like right now we're working on a 6 scale massive Jabba the Hutt diorama and
Oh,
Rancor Cave. Yeah, and so that being said, have you seen the Jabba the Hutt diorama?
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It is
So
pretty
we're
cool.
we're almost complete with that one. But yeah, so our channel again, I could be throwing out content all the time, like a lot of people do, which is okay for some of the things that they're doing. But with me, I just come out with the stuff that's like I say, I want to be original. And a lot of people know StarKiller77 has a lot of original things that other people don't have and collect, and
Mm-hmm.
and those are the things I like to talk about, the journey of how I got those things. But yeah, it's cool. So if you're into studio scale models, I don't ever put myself out there to be a very knowledgeable person, but I can absolutely guide you in the right direction of how to collect studio models. Um, but yeah, it's StarKiller77. Check it out. It's a fun site, and I'm not on there too often. Sometimes I'll do maybe one video a month, or sometimes I'll surprise people, do 3 or 4. But I've got a lot of content that I'm going to be coming out within the next couple of months before Star Wars Celebration.
What you have already in your channel is pretty neat, man. It's amazing. So
Thank you.
it is a must watch each one of them and take
Thank
the
you.
time because it's enjoyable.
Yeah,
So can you tell us a bit about Collection Wars with Gabe?
absolutely. Yeah. So, through other channels out there, we were able to get together, Gabe and I, and we had both have done some collection stuff before. Obviously, Gabe was in the game a lot longer than I was, and had and still has a fantastic following on his Star Wars Replicas site. He's very informative. If you're wanting to get into certain things, Star Wars, especially if it's the props and license, Gabe is the guy to go to learn that. He's so respectful. He's very humble. He's not a cocky guy, and I think that's why I clicked with him so well right out of the gate. And me and him were talking, and it was kind of funny because somebody had made fun of his collection in the way of like they had more than what he had. Yeah. And the funny thing about it is a lot of people get pissed off and they say things, and
Yes.
but that's when we came up with the name Collection Wars.
I like it.
And you want me to tell you how classy Gabe is? Not a month later, we had that guy on our show.
Oh my goodness.
And
He's a great dude.
It's just fantastic. But
Yes.
Gabe's collection is very extensive. He has a lot of stuff.
Yes.
But he's limited on his space. And what's so crazy cool is the way he's displayed it has made him very, very popular out there. I mean, he needs a royalty check on those bestas. You know what I mean?
Yes.
He is the one that really, you're going to see him out there all over the place. And I don't care what anybody says. Gabe was one of the originals that did all that stuff. And it's cool because he did it to inspire other collectors. I do a lot of the things that I do to inspire other collectors, and right out of the gate, we have become like brothers. We talk about family. We talk about personal things and issues in our lives on the side.
That's awesome.
But the only thing I regret is how far he is from me, because I love Gabe. He's my brother,
Yes, you guys are far. You're in Texas. He's in Cali. So, man, it's far. I have the privilege to make an interview with him already.
Awesome.
The channel early on my first month of the channel.
Very cool.
It was freaking cool knowing him, and I discovered him like a lot of people on TikTok, and I was like nuts, like, who is this guy? This looks pretty awesome, and he was right away like, hey, Star Wars Español, talking in Spanish. I was like, whoa. So, and it's a plus because it is a Mexican dude, man. So
I'm sure he had a good time on that show too. But
awesome.
just to wrap up on the Collection Wars thing, Gabe and I have met so many awesome people like you, like your viewers, and we have made so many friendships. But I think, besides the inspiration that Gabe and I feel in my heart has really thrown out there, we're a very positive channel. We're not negative. We don't like to badmouth. There's some other channels out there that we would just rather squash them like a grape by just not even mentioning their channel and just seeing us grow, and they're staying static. But the thing is the friendships, and some of the collectors and some of the industry guests that we've had this is going to be something that's going to be in the vault forever. Some of the people that we've had on our show, a lot of them will never do a show again, because of their age or because of health reasons, and their family is going to always be able to go back to Collection Wars. My family, your family, they'll be able to go back to these shows and get to see a history of what their life was about, and again, it's just been such a blast. It's been an awesome, badass ride with Gabe and Collection Wars. So.
Awesome, man.
Yeah,
and I want to mention, just go and check his channel too. Also, go and check Gabe's. The Star Wars replicas. A lot of you guys know him, so you're going to enjoy also his channel. So I have another section on the show, and this is kind of like a funny thing.
Okay.
And the name of this it is choose one of the two options. So you have to choose one of the two. Okay?
It's like a game show here. You're getting me going.
A few of them. So you choose Stormtrooper or Clone Trooper.
Stormtrooper.
R2D2 or BB-8.
This is easy. R2D2. But hey,
okay, let's go back.
Yeah. I do have to say, BB-8 is a badass robot. He was the coolest thing in Force Awakens. Period.
For sure.
Period. All right, moving on.
Totally agree, man.
Yeah.
The Force or the dark side?
Ooh. The Force. The Force.
Green or red lightsaber?
Hey, go click back one more. I gotta tell you something.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell this on your channel before anybody else's. So Collection Wars, this next episode, I've been talking about opening up a restaurant. In this themed restaurant, we're gonna have some really cool Star Wars props in there. We're opening up a pizza shop.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I want to be one of the first ones over there.
Yes. So just today, we had a different name for the Brick Oven Pizza joint. And what we've decided to call it, because Brick Oven pizzas have that dark and the charred and, what do you think about Dark Side Brick Oven Pizza Company? Boom.
That sounds neat.
So I'm still a Force guy, but we're gonna do Dark Side Brick Oven Pizza Company.
Cool,
I'm not
man.
kidding. And so when you walk inside the pizza place, it's gonna be more of a higher end place, but we'll have like a life-size Vader in there.
Ooh.
EPs, a lot of the 80s nostalgia, Battlestar Galactica, some studio scale props and models and stuff in there. So,
wow. But
just today, my friend, and I'm sure Joseph, he's on our show quite a bit, was telling me, what about Dark Side? And I'm like, Dark Side, pizzeria, Dark Side, because when you see Dark Side, I don't want everybody to just think Star Wars, but it's an inside thing, and everybody that knows me will know why I hit Dark Side. But I'm still the Force.
Cool. I take it, man. So, green or red lightsaber?
Green.
Okay. Boba Fett or Darth Maul?
I'm going to be clear. The old Boba Fett.
Cool. It's clear, man. The Empire Strikes Back or Revenge of the Sith?
If anybody, you're laughing because you already know.
That's the fun. It has to be fun in this part.
Yeah, absolutely. Revenge of the Sith. No, I'm just kidding. The Empire Strikes Back all day long.
Cool. X-Wing or TIE Fighter?
X-Wing for sure.
Okay. Padme Amidala or Leia Organa?
Oh, hands down Organa.
Star Wars before or after Disney?
Man, these are fantastic questions. I love it. Star Wars before.
Cool. Kenner or Hasbro?
Wow, Kenner.
Jedi Master or Sith Lord?
Jedi Master.
Okay. And last but not least, who shot first?
I would have to say Han Solo.
I love it, man. I'm loving your answers, dude.
Thank you, bro.
Very cool. I'm really hope that you're having a good time with us.
Oh, man, this is a blast. This is a blast.
Okay, so the last section of the show is called list the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay, so this is like exercise for your brain. We are going to know more about you probably in this last part. So list the first thing that comes to your mind when I tell you A New Hope.
Star Wars.
The Millennium Falcon.
Expensive. Because I'm working on a 5-foot studio.
Oh my goodness, that's expensive, man.
I'm just being honest.
Okay, The Mandalorian.
Better.
The Phantom Menace.
Sucks.
Jabba the Hutt.
God, that's a hard one. I don't know. I don't want to say boring, but that's what comes to mind. And hey, I am doing a big palace, so have respect for me, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Dave Filoni.
Respect.
Chewbacca.
The best.
Boba Fett.
The old Boba Fett. Badass.
Midichlorians.
No comment.
The Death Star.
It's badass.
Rogue One.
Badass.
Rey Skywalker.
No comment.
Like it, man. The Ewoks.
Cute.
The Dark Side.
Cool.
Master Yoda.
Amazing.
Lili Ledi.
Badass.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Respected.
Grogu.
Overdone.
Ahsoka Tano.
I don't. We're getting pretty.
Darth Vader.
Golly. What did I think about when I see him? He's just an awesome character. Yeah.
It is. And last but not least, George Lucas.
My idol. I
Cool,
would have to say my idol.
cool, cool, cool. I want to give you a big round of applause for all your answers. It's been a real trip, man. And I'm sure the Star Wars Español family are clapping for you as well.
Thank you.
And I want to really thank you again. Before we say goodbye, I want to thank you again for being with us today. And I want to leave the invitation open for another occasion. It will really be a pleasure to have your return as a special guest.
Thank you. You can count on that. You can count on that.
Thank you, man. So is there anything else that you want to share with us here at Star Wars Español?
Well, if you guys want, I can briefly walk you through the gallery and give you a real quick tour if you'd like to see it.
That'll be awesome, man. That'll be like
Let's-
VIP.
Let's do it.
Let's draw it.
Hang on. All right. All right, everybody. So if you haven't seen the gallery, this is the main gallery. We've got two more rooms that are in the works right now. So let's just start out where we'll make this brief, but let's show you. I've got the Dejaric table here. This is pretty cool here. Let me show you guys. Okay. See the lights on the Dejaric?
Wow.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. I am C-3PO Human Cyborg Relations.
So that's just one of the little things I got right there. So this right here is a Regal Robot life-size Chewbacca that I commissioned through with Tom and his awesome gang over there. And I was blessed enough to get Peter to sign this pouch about 3 weeks before he passed away. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, good stuff.
That's cool.
Here we've got a life-size Darth Vader that does light up along with these panel switches and everything over here. They're just not turned on right now. This right here is what I showed you guys or we're talking about earlier is the Dawn Post Stormtrooper.
That's beautiful, man.
Thank you. Over in this area, we've got some monsters talking to us in the background. Is
I
the
love that
6 scale collection. This is just a part of the 6 scale collection that I have here. Just be brief real quick. Show you. I've got stuff scattered all over the place. We've got some custom tauntauns that my good friend Joel did as an exclusive through Collection Wars. Let me show you guys right over here is a 16-foot trench that I built. It took me almost a year and a half to build. Yeah, this was a fun project. So
crazy, man.
Everybody knows Slave One. This is a studio scale model that was built by Mike Salzo. Absolute fantastic piece. I'm just in awe over the studio models. We got a life-size Tusken Raider here. Here's a few sneak peeks of some of the ships. That one right there is one of my favorites. That is Red 3. We've got Gold Leader right here. These are all Salzo built. This was built by Mark Elkins. This was built by Ben Yetter, awesome modeler. This one also Red Jammer. It's a really cool piece. This scratch built piece here is a Salzo 4.5 foot.
Wow.
Yeah, this is an incredible one-off.
Huge.
In studio scale, for the people that are watching that aren't familiar with studio scale, these are the actual scale that they used in the actual film.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody knows the escape pod, studio scale DeAugustini Millennium Falcon. We got the TIE Fighter right here. You can hear the monsters in the background they're playing. And then right here is the TIE Bomber. We got the TIE Interceptor studio scale. This is a Randy Cooper custom build right here. Real quick over here, I'm really big into the Gentle Giant jumbo figures. And this is one of my favorite pieces that I just recently built here, which I took the original Kenner toy and then we blew it up. A friend of mine, Izzy, helped me do this, and then I painted it up and put it all together. But look at that replica of that. That's really
awesome.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, but I love that. Here's another row of all of the Gentle Giant figures. And you can see kind of for the scale of you that don't know Gentle Giant. See the original Kenner's figures are down there.
Wow. Those are beautiful, man.
And then here's another quick angle of this is the exhaust port where Luke shoots his in there. And this is where they missed. There's a lot of really cool little pieces in here that you'll see, like the Jason Eaton crane. That was in A New Hope right there. And I don't have a whole lot of helmets, but I do have a few. I'll just run you through a couple of them. Like running around. This right here is a Ben Yetter build. It's a Mike Salzo X-Wing. This is Porkins. This is actually one of my favorite paint schemes right here. This is an awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Right here is some studio scale. This is a 4 foot tall ATST, and then we got the ship that's crashed. That's an MPC model from the early 80s. So here we have the Twin Pod. Everybody knows this one, the Cloud Car.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And we were talking about my favorite action figure, and this is a life-size Gentle Giant toy. So trying to give you guys an idea on scale.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
That's crazy, man.
Isn't that cool? Then we have an IG-88 here. This guy stands almost 7 foot tall. He's pretty much, he's almost as tall as the Chewbacca. and I built the base for it. So, and then here there's my line of vintage.
Oh wow, that is pretty cool.
And here's the little lady Java, the Java with the removable cape.
Yes, man, that's freaking amazing.
Yeah, this is a really, really neat one.
Wow,
Really good friend of mine.
look at that.
And then here's the other level of collection
Sweet.
of the vintage. And then this right here is
Oh wow.
the Dagobah with a studio scale X-Wing. And you can see some of the details.
That is neat. Look at that, man. The details.
See Yoda's little house.
Yes.
Here's the interior of this right here is a really, really cool piece. It's actually one of my favorite pieces that I have. It's really, really hard to get. This company didn't make these too long, but I really, really enjoy that. It's pretty cool. Right here is the A-Wing. This is a studio scale. This is about 2 feet. This is the actual scale that they used when they made the movie, and it does light up and whatnot. This here is Jason Eaton's custom. It is studio scale because they used this actual on a couple little shots, but this is one of my favorite models here. This thing is about almost 3.5 feet long, and that right there is a premium format stormtrooper. Kind of give you an idea of the scale. This is a quarter scale statue, which, you know, it's quite a bit bigger than a 12-inch figure. It's probably about, I'd say, 22 to 24 inches tall, but it's just really close to scale, and the details are just amazing.
Very cool.
And then we have right here is the
Sandcrawler, man. I love it.
Yeah, and the Sandcrawler does light up. I'll show you guys.
Oh, that is amazing.
Isn't that cool?
Oh, dude, that is super cool.
Yeah. So that's a good little portion of the deal. Yeah, this thing always likes to talk, huh? All right, let me turn this off.
I'm going to Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
Okay.
But yeah, man, that's a real brief tour. I guess I can show you real quick. This is a very special R2D2. Kenny Baker did sign this R2. It's all aluminum body, and this is him signing it.
Oh, that's cool.
And a lot of people are familiar with the Regal robot.
Yes.
Yeah, and this guy right here.
That's amazing, man. That's it. Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. And I did the base on it.
Oh man, that's very cool.
Thank you. And this right here, everybody knows the torture droid.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I built him. He was a fun build.
Wow.
And then last but not least, in this room anyways, I've got the Death Star.
Oh wow, man, that's super cool. Thank you so much for sharing all this awesome craziness, man. Your collection is freaking cool, and we are, man, like I don't have any words to say after seeing all that stuff. Man,
I appreciate the kind words, and I just would like to say thank you so much. It's an honor being on your show. Congrats on your channel, and invite me on anytime. I'll come right back. Be happy to. But one thing that I would like to say to you is thank you for what you do, because, there's a lot of, Hispanic people out there that don't speak the English, and it's because of you that you're able to translate that, to them. And I think it's awesome that you got somebody like me that's yakking and talking away, and then you have to go back and put that in, and it's just fantastic how you do that. I just want to say thank you for doing that. I think it's awesome that you do it.
And thank you so much, man.
Yeah, no problem at all. Thank you, everybody.
See you soon.
Take care.